If you need some evidence of how intense the AI battle is getting, look no farther. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown Brief, all the AI headline news you need in 5-ish minutes or less. We begin today with a Wall Street Journal report that Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google, has returned to the company in a major way. Now, Sergey and his co-founder Larry have never been fully disengaged, even after they left their main day-to-day executive leadership roles. However, Sergey is back not just in a nominal way, but is actually spending 3 to 4 days a week in the office. His focus? You guessed it, he's back to work on AI. From the WSJ, Brin participated in meetings about AI at Google's offices late last year, but the frequency and intensity of his involvement has picked up, say people familiar with the matter. His new stance is a notable change from the relatively hands-off approach he adopted after stepping down from an executive role at parent company Alphabet in 2019. Sergey, they say, is working on Google's forthcoming AI model, Gemini. From the journal's sources, it sounds like Sergey is involved in technical matter discussions. The one that they cite is loss curves, which is a way of measuring an AI program's performance over time. They also suggest that he has some sort of managerial role. He's been convening weekly discussions of new AI research with employees on the team. Finally, and it seems likely to me that this might be one of the biggest places that he can add value, the WSJ writes he has also intervened in personal matters such as the hiring of sought-after researchers. In other words, it's one thing when Google's trying to hire you. It's a whole different thing when Google's co-founder Sergey Brin is trying to hire you. Now, the journal understands that the context is intensifying competition in AI research. Indeed, later today, I'm working on an episode all about ChatGPT's new custom instructions feature, which comes just a week and a half after they launched Code Interpreter. The pace of not only development, but feature release is blistering right now. Gemini, says the journal, is Google's attempt to build a general-purpose AI that can rival GPT-4. The project is being overseen by Demis Hassabis, who's the CEO of DeepMind, which has recently blended with another Google group to be the singular AI body within the company. The other big detail from the piece is that there are some indications that Gemini could be released by the end of the year. You have to think between OpenAI's continued development and Meta this week announcing their commercial Llama 2, which, by the way, was announced with a big partnership with Microsoft, there has got to be a lot of internal pressure at Google right now. Next up, one of the big themes of this year has been the constraints in AI compute. It's led to a massive rally for NVIDIA, which of course dominates the AI chip production market. One of the companies that is trying to challenge them is called Cerebras, and yesterday they announced something that they call their Condor Galaxy 1. It's a 4 exaflop AI supercomputer. Now, as part of the announcement, they also shared that G42, a UAE-based company, was ordering 3 of the Galaxy 1 systems with an option to buy 6 more. The deal in total was worth more than $100 million. Investor Brad Gerstner tweeted, "Accelerated compute is a massively constrained resource. As shareholders of both NVIDIA and Cerebras, we celebrate this competition, which gives governments and enterprises more choice in AI compute." Moving to the policy realm for a moment, on our main episode today, we're going to talk extensively about the new commitments that the White House has secured from 7 leading AI companies about how they will develop more responsibly and openly. But in the meantime, senators continue to roll out more specific AI bills as well. Pennsylvania Democrat Bob Casey introduced 2 new bills yesterday that both deal with artificial intelligence in the workplace. The first bill is called the No Robot Bosses Act, and basically it would prevent employers from using entirely automated systems in order to make employment decisions. So they couldn't just farm out hiring decisions to an AI which determines who's the best suited for a particular position or not. The bill would also require employers to train their employees on any systems like that they use, and would also require human oversight of any automated AIs that are used to make employment-related decisions. The summary of the bill read, "Systems and software, not humans, are increasingly making decisions on whom to interview for a job, where and when employees should work, and who gets promoted, disciplined, or even fired. Maybe you're a delivery driver and your employer's tracking algorithm determines you're not performing to its standards, and then sends you an email to let you know you've been fired without any warning or opportunity to speak to a human being. In 2023, these scenarios are no longer just imaginary. Without oversight and safeguards, these robot bosses increase the risk of discrimination, unfair disciplinary actions, and dangerous working conditions." Now, the second bill from Senator Casey has similar themes. It's called the Exploitative Workplace Surveillance and Technologies Task Force Act, and it would create a task force, a government body, whose job it was to examine and study workplace surveillance tools. The bill would, quote, "Analyze the effect of workplace surveillance and automated decision systems on employee salaries and scheduling, determine the impact on employee organizing efforts, and evaluate how such systems affect historically marginalized populations in the workplace." Speaking to both the bills, Senator Casey said, I think generally everyone around here is keenly focused on providing a strategy to confront what can only be described as an awesome challenge for the country. There are also some opportunities with AI, but the challenge of it is, I don't think I have to exaggerate that. Over in the world of cool tools, people are really excited about the latest from Runway. Runway is the generative video creator that has evolved from a video-to-video modifier to a text-to-video creator to now something that can generate video from a starting image. Basically, you can take an image that you've created in something like Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, and then Runway Gen 2 will actually generate a video around it. The last thing I want to mention in today's brief is that ChatGPT has rolled out a new feature called custom instructions. I'm going to do an entire video for this weekend, which will likely be out on Sunday, but Sam Altman described custom instructions as one small step towards more personalized AI, but a surprisingly fun and useful one. Custom instructions effectively comes down to two questions. What would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? And how would you like ChatGPT to respond? The important thing is that you will not have to rewrite this with every prompt. Instead, ChatGPT will remember these instructions and respond accordingly. There is a ton of excitement about this feature on Twitter, so if you want to hear more about how people are using that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and come back for more of that soon. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's AI Breakdown Brief. If you're enjoying this but would find it useful to get in email form, go subscribe to the AI Breakdown newsletter. There's a link to that on breakdown.network. Thanks for listening or watching as always, and I'll be back soon with the main AI Breakdown.